Hey guys, OG Albina here, and I'm bringing it back. This is a video that's kind of been long in the making. If you guys don't remember, back a few months ago at this point, I uploaded a video kind of showcasing some real draft league heat, some absolute crazy sets that you guys have run in the past that have actually worked in game. I got like 40 responses to this tweet, and I only got through like 5 of them last time, and I said I would make more videos on the subject. Ended up falling behind, and then Scarlet and Violet came back, but I think it's time. I need something to upload today. And I thought it'd be fun to go through a couple more of these replays. We're going to go through 4 of them now. But there's a ton more. So if you guys do want to see more entries into this little mini series of going over Draft League Heat, let me know in the comments below. Drop a like if you enjoy. Sub if you're new too as well. We're on our way to 2,000. I'd really appreciate if you help me out along that goal. And yeah, with that being said, we can jump on into it. Now, I have 4 replays that I have set aside right now. We're going to go over today. 2 of them from the person that kind of gave me the inspiration to do this thread in Josh, aka Ultra Player, one of the people that, excuse me, is most well known like in the draft community for bringing just some wacky shit. And there's one in particular, the first one that I'm going to show off is actually one of my favorite draft league replays ever. It makes me laugh every single time I see it, and I think it's such a cool, creative way to play Pokemon, and let me show you it right here. So this is going to be a game. This happened back in 2020, so this is 2 years ago at this point. A little more than 2 years ago, like 2.5 years ago at this point. This is going to be Josh against Slippy Slurpy and Sean. There's a guy named Sean. Sean's known for a lot fatter, more balanced, defensive, almost semi-stall-like builds. Like you see right here, there's a Mega Sableye, Bronzong, Clefable, Duosion, Keldeo, and a Landorus. Pretty cool squad. Josh here has a great idea, and I feel like this is an important thing and what makes drafts so fun, and why playstyles like this aren't as good in drafts typically, like fatter balancings and, you know, semi-stall, which, you know, they can still obviously be great, but when a good player runs in these matchups and they can think of some interesting stuff, things are going to go pretty crazy right here. So we can go ahead and jump into this game. This is one of the ones I know how this ends, so we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. We're going to see a Rhydon lead into a Sableye. We're going to see a hard Venusaur pivot. A Sableye can't really do much, and it definitely doesn't want to take like a Sludge Bomb poison or anything like that, so definitely makes sense that he is going to pivot out here. Giga Drain's obviously nice as well. Nice little just neutral click as the Zong comes in. Then we're going to see Obstagoon come in, and this is where the fun starts. Now, we are going to see the Mega Sableye come in, as it does check it pretty darn well. So we're actually going to see a sub from the Obstagoon, and we're actually not going to see a Flame Orb, showing that this is not a Guts Obstagoon, which you would typically see into like a fatter, more semi-stall balanced team. I mean, because it would absolutely rip through a team like this. But instead, Josh is actually rocking with a sub Parting Shot Defiant Obstagoon. And what this will allow him to do is whenever this Mega Sableye comes in to try and check him, he Parting Shots. And not only does he force him out, but when the Parting Shot bounces back, he's going to start getting Defiant boosts and really boosting up his attack and things like that, which is pretty darn nuts. So he's gonna go ahead and boost up, get 2 attack boosts, or 3 I guess, force it out, and then Clef is gonna come in and take 63 from that Facade, which is absolutely nuts. Now again, this was kind of contingent on him using what do you call it, Sableye as the check, as he makes a pivot into Keldeo right here. It is gonna get knocked off. The Keldeo is slower, so I think he might have miscreeped. What do you call it, Sean might have, but obviously he's in a pretty good spot right here. He sees that he's fast, and you see that he continues to sub down because he's actually a sub-Salic variant. So he's going to be able to get down to 1 HP, get up to +1 speed, and then just Facade through this thing, which is pretty nuts. Landorus isn't going to be able to stop this thing. It's going to come in and Intimate and just give it more attack. Knockoff's going to clean knock it out. There's Soft Sand. And then we're going to see the Sableye come back in, and no matter what, Sableye can't do anything. It's always just going to get Parting Shotted and give this thing infinite more boost, which is, again, really darn cool. So this is a +6 attack Obstagoon here, and it's going to just be able to clean through. Now, obviously, there are things that could have stopped this, right? There's just Rocky Helmet in general would have stopped this. Using Clef as the initial pivot would have stopped this as well. But it was really cool to see this end up working out. He is going to go ahead and die to the Sableye right here. He probably should have just Parting Shotted there, but not the end of the world, as we are going to see just an Earthquake come out here. Strong ass Rhydon is going to 2-hit KO the Duosion, and then Sableye is going to die coming in. So the Obstagoon was definitely the star of the show there, which is really funny. Yeah, again, there was a lot of things that could have gone wrong. Obviously, the Keldeo being slow really helped Josh in sweeping, but he could have came back in and done it later, which would have been really cool as well. So, yeah, really, really cool stuff here from Josh. This is one of my favorite replays ever. It's probably going to be the thumbnail of this video. Definitely just really cool to see the creativity of like Draft League like shine through. And this is why it's so much fun to play Draft in my opinion. So, yeah, that's going to be the first one from Josh. The next one we actually have from Razor Claw. And this is a really, really cool one. I did watch this one when it came out, and this is a really, really cool one. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the game. And I don't want to spoil anything before we get in what the showcase mod is, just because I know. It doesn't mean you got to know. We're going to see an Electros U-turn out on the Clefairy coming in. I think this is Mega Cam, which is one of my favorite Draft League Megas. I think it's such a slept-on Pokemon. Gets up rocks pretty reliably here. The Milotic is going to get burned as we go hard for Alligator here. He actually is going to get Toxic, which is a bit unfortunate, but not the end of the world. He's going to pivot into the Comfey, presumably to Heal Bell, which is going to be nice. Or Aromatherapy, same difference. Gets off of that Toxic as the Nidoqueen's going to come in. Are we going to see a U-turn? Big U-turn. Gator comes out, and we're going to see some shenanigans occur right here. So we do see a liquidation right here, doing a good, decent 13% to the Milo. Then we're going to see a sub. And this is where things get interesting, right? Because we see this thing recover, and this is another reason why Flame Orb Milo is not my favorite thing in the world. It's definitely bulky, but you're forced into so many recovers due to your own passive chip and burn and no leftovers or just hazards being up in general, that you're forced into more recovers, and it feels like you're not as bulky as you would be even with just like boots or leftovers. But this is going to be really cool, as this Milo has no way of breaking this Gator sub, and now that it doesn't have it Toxic, Spite is going to drastically reduce the PPs of this thing's recover or hazes, depending on what it wants to go for. And this Gator will outlast this Milotic and end up setting up on it, which is incredibly, incredibly cool. You're going to see this Scald do absolutely nothing. It just lost 4 recover PP, and we're going to see it go ahead and spite the Scald right here. And again, just absolutely burn through this thing's PP. If you would have asked me if I knew the Alligator got spite or something like that, like, come on, like that's really cool. I'm also gonna link Josh and Razor Claw in the description below because I know that they both upload. So they'll definitely be linked in the description below for sure. We're gonna go ahead and see the Mega Manectric come out here, or Manectric, I think it's Mega. As the Feraligatr gets up to +1 speed, it's not going to be able to int him. It is slower than the Manectric at +1, but I presume that's because it's like a fatter Gator or something like that. So we are going to see Liquidation to it. KO. Manectric's going to come back out, so he's going to be forced out here. But again, that doesn't mean that it can't come back in and do the same exact thing if it just gets in on the Milotic in a little bit. We see Aqua Tail from the Electros, which is pretty cool tech coverage for the Nidoqueen. It's nice and chipped down, which is nice. Cobalion is going to come in, finish it off. Manectric's going to come in and not pick up the KO because it's not a very strong Pokemon. Also, one of my least favorite Megas is Mega Manectric in Draft. I think it's absolutely terrible, especially in like post-Gen 7 no hidden power formats. It's pretty bad. Right here, we're going to see Comfey come in. I believe it's just going to throw off a U-turn, yeah, which definitely makes sense. Nice little pivot. Camera Up's going to come back in. U-turn's going to come out from the Scizor. I think you have a pretty free Earth Power right here. There's not really much, or even just a Flamethrower. Yeah, because again, this is what I mean with the Milotic. That Flamethrower might only be doing 17, but you took so much net damage from rocks and burn and things like that. We see a good Crobat pivot right here, which is definitely nice. Unfortunately, it's not Taunt Bat. We're going to U-turn out in Gator on the recover. And there's the free sub. Like, it's definitely really interesting. The Manectric's in range of rock, so it's not going to be able to stop this Gator. The Scizor's going to come out. It is faster, so again, maybe it's Scarf Scizor, maybe it's just, again, that slow of a Gator. But there's not much that this Milotic can do at this point. It's kind of just a war of attrition. Yeah, this is such a cool set. This is also one of my favorite sets that I've seen in Draft. Like, this blew my mind. This is a really cool one. We have a lot more from Josh and Razor Claw in this Twitter thread, so we can obviously show some more of them in future renditions. I think I have one more Josh replay and then one more replay after that. But again, there's not much as this thing's going to be able to do in stopping this Gator, especially with Spite just burning through all of its PP. This thing being forced into recover so often. I think maybe if this wasn't Flame Orb, I don't know if the Gator would have been able to as efficiently PP stall it. But, you know, we'll see. As we do see the Latios set up in Agility. What do you call it? Liquidation still is 26, which is definitely nice. As we are going to see, I believe, just another Liquidation. Which is nice. This thing's not the strongest thing in the world, though. You see that it's not like a boosting item on the Lottie. So this stored power only just 37. This is a really fat Gator, man. It has to be. So we're going to see a Roost, believe just a liquidation. That'll 2-hit KO at this point. Yeah, there's not much he can really do to stop it. As another DD happens, and we're just going to see him spam liquidation at this point. Subs, and then just a nice little forfeit. So that was this is a really cool one. I'm definitely a big fan of this Razor Claw game. I thought that was really, really cool. So I don't know which one I'm going to give to thumbnail. I don't know if I'm going to give it to Obstagoon or if I'm going to give it to Gator. I don't know. Both really, really cool ones. So really cool stuff for sure. Next up is going to be Josh. In the same season, actually, of AP Evolution, I actually have a really old movie, one of my first movies on this channel where I like go over my entire run of a league from this league of my run. But we see Josh here against our good friend Jason Diet Titan. Man, this one isn't as heat as the other ones, but this is like a very infamous replay. Jason and Latios, they just don't get along, and you're gonna see really kind of like the bulk of Latios kind of come through to shine. Because when we think of Latios, at least me personally, I think of Specs, I think of Life, I think of Soldier, I think of just like Vortex. Scarf is great too. Much more offensive variants, but people really sleep on the fatter aspect of Latios. We're actually going to see it lead immediately as his X-Blob comes in. Only just 39 after a Calm Mind, which is pretty nuts, showing that this Lottie with Recover is just going to bulk this thing immensely. As we see a Calm Mind here, as the Lottie gets up to +2/+2, it's going to Agility, and I think you know what's going to happen next. 32 from this Hyper Voice. Weakness Policy is going to proc, and there's just nothing he can do at this point. There's just absolutely nothing that he can do. He's just going to recover in this Mew's face and Nasty Plots, but I don't think there's anything that this thing... Yeah, good night. It died. It died from fall. He didn't need to recover. He could have just OHKO'd it. Mega Arrow is going to come out again. A very, very, very fast replay, but that's the power of Latios, and it's cool to see, like, this was a very fat Lottie, obviously. This was not a very, offensive variant, but being able to compound boost, weakness policy. Draft League player loves weakness policy. So this is pretty demon here. Definitely really, really cool stuff. And it shows, please draft a dark type, ladies and gentlemen. This is what happens when you don't draft a dark type. Or you don't draft a good one. I think he had one that was just, like, really bad and not worth. Okay, next up is a game I actually have not seen. And lastly, it's going to be Lux here. I know that Keldeo is the showcase, but I don't know anything other than that. This is Galadex Draft Gen 8. So let's go ahead and jump into it. We do see a Latias lead into a Torn T. Definitely makes sense. We're going to see a Toxic, so it's not Scarf Lottie. We're going to see a Trick as it obtains a Flame Orb, and then it tricks it a Lumberry, so the Lottie just gets healed, which is pretty interesting. A pretty interesting interaction. Nice and easy Telegraph U-turn on the Drill pivot, which definitely makes sense. We're going to see Leftovers recover that. Drill is going to sub up in the Seismitoad face. Probably Sub-Toxic, if I had to assume, based on the team comp that the opponent has. Sub-Toxic actually does really, really well. But we're going to see a Psychic here from the Lottie, as it does a decent chunk. We are going to see the Zapdos come in on a Toxic. Torn's going to U-turn out. We're going to see a U-turn from the Zapdos. Lottie's going to come in and just start peppering the Seismitoad with Psychics, which is definitely nice. The Psychic comes out again. Zapdos. We're going to see a Torn double. Taunt is going to stop a Defog, I presume. Nope, we're going to see a U-turn, which is definitely nice. T-Tar's going to come in, throw off an Ice Beam, so Special Tar is going to be the, mode of choice here for Lux. Nice rocks on the aggressive Peck switch, and, we gotta play a little bit aggressively around Regen plus Switch, because Regen plus Switch is what's going to happen. Next, we're going to see Keldeo come in. Oh, man, it sets up a sub. Now, we're going to set up a Swords Dance, so we are sub SD Keldeo, as it's actually Spite. This is just the video of Spite. We're going to see Taunt go off right here, stopping a Haze attempt, and not looking good for our opponent here. We're going to see a Taunt here from the Keld, as Sub tries to proc again on Hurricane, which Taunt was definitely a very, very smart play. As we're going to see a Last Resort come out and do 77 to the Toxapex. So it's popped all of its moves. It looks like, and there's no normal resist on this team other than the Rachi, which might not even really be able to beat this too well. We're going to see the Raikou come in. It's going to take a Last Resort for 46, which is definitely cool. T-Tar comes out, Sub pops. We see a Choppleberry. It's going to go ahead and break the sub, thankfully, with Dark Pulse. Zapdos is going to pivot in. Probably U-turn out. Yep, put it down to 7%. We're going to see Drill come out. As the, Raikou goes down. Weezing comes out. So I think that might be the end of the Keldeo. But the Keldeo is definitely very, very cool. We do see an Aromatherapy pop. So all of that status is gone. We see a Taunt on the Rachi pivot. Looks like Zapdos comes in, Iron Head, oh, and there's the Para, and Zapdos is going to do Zapdos things now, it looks like. Drill's going to come out, it's going to Earthquake into the Komodo, Weezing once again, eats up a Flash Cannon with a Babiri. I think this looks like it's just about a wrap. At least if I had to guess. Yeah, Keldeo is going to come back out. It's going to set up a sub on a body slam. So body slam is the best way of hitting it. We're going to see sub. We're going to see taunt. Last resort. It doesn't break through, unfortunately, which would have been cool. But the defensive Komodo comes back in. It's going to rest. But I think Zapdos just basically has the game at this point. It's kind of just a war of attrition. Yeah, between Zapdos Drill, it's going to win. So that was pretty cool. Last resort Keldeo. Maybe there's no normal immunity. And again, the normal resist being Rachi, and the Rachi not even being able to hit it was definitely really cool stuff. And yeah, I'm definitely here for it. That was definitely a really, really cool one. Obviously, I think this, I don't know what this game was for. Maybe it was a DPL game. I don't know. But definitely a really cool one. Or it could have been OLT or something like that. So cool one from Lux here. Showing off the sub SD taunt last resort Keldeo. And yeah, that's going to be today's video. Short one, just 15 minutes. I want to kind of pick away at these. Maybe we'll do these once per week. Again, let me know if you guys enjoy these though. Because if you don't enjoy them, obviously I'm not going to upload them. But I think they're really cool. And I love seeing stuff like the Obstagoon and the Feraligatr work. And they definitely put in plenty of work in these games. So yeah, that being said, drop a like if you enjoyed this episode. See you guys next time.